Welcome, beautiful people, to your TTA Pro, Mr. O, back with another episode, reviewing domain 4, punctuation number 1. Let's actually get started. Mrs. Sema, can you please read the sentence? Now, remember, Mrs. Sema, read from the beginning until the end. I know sometimes we don't need to do this, but the higher scoring students always do this. So I want you to begin from here.
Um, Emperor, what? Emperor Ashoka ruled the Maurya Empire in South Asia from roughly 2270 to 232 BC. He's known for enforcing a moral code called the Law of Piety, which established the sanity of animals, the just treatment of elderly, and the abolition of the slave trade.
Very good job. So the concept here, or the topic here in this question, is called parallel structure. Is called parallel structure. Mr. Muhammad, do you know the meaning of parallel structure? Mr. Muhammad,
Yes.
do you know the meaning of
No.
parallel structure? No. Okay, so it comes from like a math idea where you have parallelism, right? Where two lines follow the same path in the same direction. Same thing in English. So in English, we have a similar idea where words follow the same style. Words follow the same style. So what does this all means? It means, number one, we're dealing with a list. Or number two, we're dealing with words or phrases combined with the word and. There's other words too, and, but, yet. It depends on the sentence. So let's focus on a list, because here we're dealing with a list. Mr. Noor, what is a list?
A list is a group of things that
A
has
series.
same, a series that are
It's a
used for
series.
one purpose.
Good. So we're dealing with a series of items in a row. This series needs to be parallel. It needs to be the same style. So first of all, how do you know you're dealing with a list? Let's actually come here. You're dealing with a list when you see comma, comma, and. You know, it doesn't have to be 2 commas. It could be like 3 commas or 4 commas or 5 commas. It depends on the list. Or there's another one, not used as often. However, it does appear on the test. Semicolon, semicolon, and. Okay, so let's focus on this first one. Let's focus on this first one. So for example, let's say Sema rode her bike, comma, climbed the hill, comma, and ran down the trail. Okay, so Sema, how do I know we have a list here?
It says like there are 2 commas and then an and. The bike
2
and
commas.
climb the hill.
Yes, 2 commas, and then and here. Now, how do we know this list is parallel? How do we know it's the same style?
Both of them.
Say that again.
Like a
Say it
bike
again,
that's
Sama.
related,
Hold on,
like,
hold on. Say it again.
both of them have the same like way. Like the bike is a ride, and climb, like both of them are moving motion.
Is it 2 things in the list, Mrs. Sama?
And ran down the trail.
It's three things. So list is three things or more. Okay. Now notice the parallel structure here. Sama road. Do you see how we begin the first part of the list with a verb past, right? You can't do it. Her bike, and then we have the object. And then we have the second part of the list, climbed, another past tense verb, and then in object. And then the third part, comma, and ran. This is the third past tense verb, and then the object, right? Or a noun. We could call this a noun as well. So you see the list here. We have a verb, noun, comma, verb, noun, comma, and verb, noun. Same style, same look. So let's go back to our question. Mr. Muhammad.
Yes.
Where is the list in this sentence?
صار statement of
Identification.
certain.
Again.
The treatment of certain and the operation of the self.
Okay, the just treatment. And, you see, and here, really important word. And, right, the abolition. There's one thing missing here, Muhammad. There's one word, one item missing. These are two things in the list. We need three. Where's the third?
Establish the sanctity of animal.
The sanctity. So do you guys see this? The sanctity. And then you have a preposition of animal. The just of the elderly and the abolition of the slave. Do you see how it's literally the same style? This is called parallelism, the same structure, the same format. So now we have you have an adjective, noun, preposition. Adjective, noun, preposition, and adjective, adjective, noun, preposition. So this is parallel structure. So Sama, what's our answer?
It should have a comma after it
Exactly. Why should it have a comma?
because it's like a verb, then like it's a parallel structure.
Parallel structure.
It's
What's
a
our
list.
answer? It's a list. Very good.
So life, comma,
D. Okay.
D.
Yes, ma'am. So I want you guys to recognize this. Now, Mr. Noor, can you tell me when we see a list, what are the requirements? When we see a list, what are the requirements of the list? Mr. Noor is not with me now. I think I'm breaking up. Mr. Muhammad.
Yes.
When we see a list, what are the two requirements of the list?
We put a comma.
We need to make sure our double comma and is there, or double semicolon and. It depends on what's there. And what's the second part, Mr. Muhammad? Parallelism. What does it mean, parallelism, Mr. Muhammad?
What's the for the same actual?
The ideas or the format is the same. The style is the same.
It's the same.
Okay. Very good job, sir. You see how I have to ask you guys? Always, always, always. No shame there. Let me zoom in here at 100%. I don't know how to zoom in here at 100%. View, I think. Normal view, doc test. Doc to desktop. Oh, there you go. 100%. I want 100% exactly. Yeah, 100% exactly. Let's continue to the next question. Number 7, Mr. Noor, is your microphone working?
Yeah, it's okay. I just forgot that it was off. Sorry.
No problem. Mr. Noor, why don't you read this question for me?
In a 2016 study, Eastern Washington University psychologist Amani El-Aili found that among the study participants who experienced friction as a psychological response akin to goosebumps or getting the chills, while listening to music, there was one personality trait that they scored particularly dash openness to experience.
Okay, very good job. So this type of question now, we've kind of reviewed some of these ideas, but I'm going to review with you before we answer this question. The first two things I'm going to focus on right now is the semicolon and the period. Mr. Noor, do you remember when we use a semicolon and a period?
When they have different ideas.
No, Mr. Noor. It doesn't go that deep. Mrs. Sama, do you remember when we use a semicolon and a period?
No.
Okay, good thing I'm asking, right? Mr. Muhammad, do you remember?
Yes, sir.
When do we use a semicolon or a period?
Semicolon once list or addition.
No, ignore that part because the listing, I understand a two semicolon and ignore that. Other than that, when do we use a semicolon? No shame if you don't know. It's okay. And that's why we review. We talked about it last time. We'll talk about it again. We'll talk about it next time. We'll talk about it at the end of the month. We'll talk about it before the test. When we have two independent ideas, okay? We have two independent ideas or two complete ideas. So we have two complete ideas, one before and one after, okay? One before and one after. This is when we use a semicolon or period. Back to you, Mr. Noor. We read the sentence, correct? The question comes here. Would it be acceptable to use a semicolon or a period?
No,
No. Why?
because the second part after the semicolon will not be complete. It will not be an independent idea.
Very good job. Answer A, answer C are incorrect. Another point I want you guys to notice, a semicolon and a period are like 99% alike. Keep this in mind. So most of the time when I see them in my answer choices, I can cancel them out. So I'm left with two answers. I'm left with answer B. I'm left with answer D. Now, I want to ask. Okay, Mrs. Sama. I want to ask Mr. Muhammad. Bye, Sama.
Yes.
When do we use a colon?
At anything.
When what?
At anything.
No. Nor do you remember when we use a colon?
To show that like the relationship between two things, or this one is like explaining something.
Okay, that's the second part of the rule. The number one part of the rule with a colon, the two dots, right? You need to have a complete idea before. You need to have a complete idea before the colon. When you have a complete idea before the colon, 99% of the time, that is your answer. And then after the colon, like Noor told me, you have an explanation or you have a list. Explanation, it can be complete, it can be incomplete. That part does not matter. Back to the question. Mr. Muhammad. Okay. Can we say answer D? If I say particularly high on colon, does this follow the rule of a complete idea before the colon? Does that fit there?
No.
Okay, what about you, Noor? What do you think?
I think we can use it.
We can. The best answer is answer D. If you read the sentence, sorry about that. If you read the sentence, you're going to see Muhammad. There was one personality trait that they scored particularly high on. That's a complete idea. That's a full idea. That is a full idea. So the best answer, Muhammad, is answer D. Okay. Answer B. Now, answer B is a bit tricky. Okay. When you're dealing with answer B, you're changing the meaning. Okay. There was one personality trait that they scored particularly high on openness to experience. Right? It needs to be particularly high, and then we stop there. Okay. Or high on. But if we go right into it, now we've changed the actual meaning. That's number one. Number two, you want to separate the independent clause from the dependent clause. And the independent clause is in the yellow. So we also want to separate the yellow idea from the rest of the phrase, openness to experience. This is actually an explanation as well. So the best answer is D when we're working with colons. Let's go to the next question. Question number 8. Now, again, like I said, we haven't taken everything. Last class, I gave you the rest as homework so I can see how well you do solo dolo. Do you guys know solo dolo? Mr. Solo Dolo? You guys don't know Mr. Solo Dolo? Muhammad, let's read, but we can begin from here, Muhammad. Why don't you begin from there?
Arrangement of the figures according to the
When you
potential
see,
idea.
one moment, Mr. Muhammad. When you read, I need you to read, you read very robotically. The arrangement of the figures according to the represents. I want you to read with a voice. It'll be easier for you to identify the different ideas if you read with a voice. That's number one. Number two, when you see the comma, okay? When you see a quote, when you see a period, I want you to say it. When you say it as you read, you're training your brain to see them. And when you see them, you can catch the problem. Okay, so let's start again.
The arrangement of the figures according to the potential idea. That we all come from the earth, generation after generation.
Okay, now we've taken this concept. So I'm going to ask you very simply, Mr. Muhammad, as you read, can you identify the subject and verb of the sentence?
Yes, I can.
Tell me the subject and verb.
The arrangement is the subject.
What's the subject?
I think we start from here, the arrangement, yeah.
We start from the arrangement. So what's the subject?
Arrangement.
The arrangement. Good. What's the verb?
Figures.
Of course not. No. I'll tell you why. Right? Definitely not figures, because you see of.
Yes.
This is a preposition, right?
Uh-huh.
So all of this
Yes.
is a prepositional phrase. Ignore it. Okay. So now I ask you one more time, where is the verb?
According.
But is that an action?
No.
No. A verb is an action. A verb
That
is
is
an,
no verb.
of course, is a verb. What did the arrangement do?
Represent.
Represents, exactly. That's how you need to find the verb. Now, we've taken this the first day. Here, if you see clearly, Mr. Noor, as well, you have a subject, you have a comma, one comma, and you have a verb. Okay, Mr. Noor, what did we say about subject, one comma, and verb? What did we say about that?
Wait, what?
Pay attention, Mr. Noor. In this sentence, we have a subject, the arrangement,
And,
one comma,
and
and a verb. What did we say about subject, comma, verb structure? Do you remember?
no.
No. Mr. Muhammad, do you remember?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember? What do we
We
say
put,
about subject, comma, verb?
Yes. And we put a comma.
If we put one comma between the subject and verb, what does that create? It creates a fragment. What's a fragment, Muhammad?
Fragment is
It's a broken sentence, correct?
yes.
It's a broken sentence. I want you guys to remember, let's say this is a human being, this is a body. The subject is the head. The verb is the body. Putting one comma cuts the head from the body. It splits the head from the body. You could never, ever in your life put only one comma between a subject and a verb. And we also said other things. We said verb, comma, object, fragment. Adjective, comma, noun, fragment. Comma, that, fragment. Comma, preposition, fragment. So there's different forms. This is a very common one. Okay. We cannot put one comma. So how can we fix this, Mr. Noor? Which answer fixes this problem?
We can fix it by adding another comma.
By adding another comma. I want you to remember as well. Subject, comma, comma verb is very correct. The double comma is like a bridge. Subject dash dash verb is also correct. The double comma, the double dash is like a bridge. So which answer fixes the problem, Mr. Noor?
A. The answer should be A.
Yes, sir. Very good job. Now look at this sentence, Mr. Muhammad. I want you to see it again. I want you to see here, we say Swensel, right? Swensel, comma. I want you to see here how we did the subject, the arrangement, comma, comma, verb. Now you can read the sentence. The arrangement represents her idea. That's the sentence. Very good job there. Okay, let's continue, beautiful people. Number 9. Okay, let's check this one out. Now again, this is all punctuation. Instead of me giving you separate lessons, okay, today we're going to take commas, today we're going to take this. The reason I don't do that, number one, digital SAT, they're better at making these sentences easier to understand. And number two, I find that if we take everything separately, you're still going to have problems applying when it's mixed. So we might as well be exposed to the mixed practice now and avoid this issue. Whose turn is it to read? Let's go to Mr. Noor. Read to me.
In her book, The Woman Warrior, Memoirs of a Girlhood Among Ghosts, author Maxine Hong Kingston examines themes childhood, womanhood, and Chinese American identity by intertwining autobiography and mythology.
Okay, let's stop and think. Mr. Noor,
Was
when do we use a single dash? You don't
I
remember.
think, yeah,
Mr. Muhammad, when do we use a single dash?
There is another dash.
Okay, but I'm asking about single, not double.
Mm,
Okay, let me ask you guys another question. Mr. Muhammad,
yes.
when do we use a colon?
Uh, when there is a rest. Or no.
The number one rule. That's the number two rule. That's the second rule. The number one rule.
Independent or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Independent idea dash. Excuse me. Independent idea colon.
Colon.
It's the same as the dash. Mr. Noor, to use a dash, you have to have an independent idea dash. The same thing. The single dash and the single colon. They're literally the same thing. So do you think, Mr. Noor, the dash or the colon could be correct?
no,
Why?
because childhood is not really independent. Like,
Beforehand? No, right? Author
no, no,
Maxine
no.
Hall. You were agreeing with me?
So I think we cannot use them.
Yeah. Author Maxine Hong Kingston examines themes of what? The preposition is broken. But there's another reason why. Muhammad, did we say the colon and the dash are the same thing?
No.
No, they are. The
I
same
absolutely
thing, right? So if they're the same thing, that means these two answers cancel each other out. Just like a semicolon and a period. If I see both of them, they cancel each other out. What's my answer here, Mr. Muhammad, now that you know all of this?
the answer is B.
B. I want you guys to recognize as well of childhood, comma, womanhood, comma, and Chinese American identity. This is all one big prepositional phrase. This is all one big prepositional phrase. Prepositional phrases cannot have a comma before or right after. If you do this, it creates a fragment. Very good job, gentlemen. Let's go to question number 10. Now, I want you guys to notice, right? Question number 10 here, we're going to begin right at the answer of the question. See, question number 10 right now. So let's begin with Mr. Muhammad. Let's do it right here as. Why? Because this is punctuation, so you don't need the outside part. But generally speaking, good habits get good results. I always read. I encourage my students to read. But because we're practicing together, we're skipping around. Just keep this in mind. Mr. Muhammad, read for me, bro.
Okay. As a specific points out, Safiri is not the protagonist of series, as the recipient of the letters that from the book's narrative. She is the occasion of it.
Okay, now, Mr. Muhammad, we read this sentence, correct?
Yes.
How many independent ideas are in this sentence?
Mm. 2.
Two. Two ideas. Very good job, sir. Which answer fits those two ideas? Which answer, which punctuation form do we use for two ideas?
It's a semicolon. We use it.
Semicolon. Very good job, sir. Excellent there. So you're left with C or D, right? And I want you to see it. Seville is not the protagonist of Shelley's novel. She's the occasion of it. So we have two independent ideas. We're left with C, we're left with D. If you had to choose an answer, what would be the best answer?
C.
I want you to recognize something. Okay, let me ask Noor, actually. Noor. Oh, actually, there's no other
Yes.
answer that can work. No, nothing. I want you to tell me why D is incorrect. I thought this was a semicolon. Mr. Sama, gotta eat the carrots, get that vitamin A. Why would D be incorrect, Mr. Noor?
Because normally you use the comma, as you said, to like if we separated the verb and the subject, and rather, and there's no verb
Actually,
here.
no, Mr. Noor, you're just making stuff up. Just making up rules. One more time. How many independent ideas are in this sentence?
Mhm.
What'd you say, Broof?
I'm counting.
Ah, take your time.
One, three, I think.
Well, okay. Actually, beginning from as. Apologies, I should have made it more clear. You probably read the whole paragraph. Beginning from as, how many independent ideas are there?
Two.
Two. Okay. Very simply, you could never separate two independent ideas with
Comma.
commas. Never, ever, ever on your life. Okay? Keep this in mind. Let's go to the next question. Very good job so far, gentlemen. Very, very good job. Very happy right now. Let's go to question number 11. We're almost done here with this homework review. Then we're going to go to the reading review as well. Mr. Noor, it is your turn, sir, to read this sentence. Read it for us, please.
Humans were long thought to have begun occupying the Peruvian settlement of Machu Picchu between 1440 and
Okay, just
1415
one
CE.
second. Read it as 1440, 1450. Okay,
1440 and 1450.
good.
However, a team led by anthropologist Dr. Richard Berger used accelerator mass spectrometry to uncover evidence that it was occupied in 1420 CE. According to Berger, humans were likely inhabiting the area.
Okay, so according to Mr. Berger, humans are inhabiting the area. How many ideas are there here, Mr. Noor?
Settlements of
Now, I want you to begin from however, because I know you begin from the beginning, so which is a good habit, which is a very good habit. But let's begin from however here, because it's punctuation, so it's in sentence. How many ideas are in that sentence?
was, I think, 3 ideas. 3 ideas.
Independent ideas. How many? 3 as well?
No, independent, I think, 2.
2. Where are they?
A team led by anthropologist Dr. Richard used accelerator mass spectrometry to uncover evidence that it was occupied
Okay.
1420.
Where's the second idea?
Humans were likely inhabiting the area.
What's my best answer, my brew?
And the answer?
Yeah?
C.
Mr. Muhammad.
Wait. Yeah, C.
Mr. Muhammad.
Yes.
Why is the answer C?
Mm. Because it's implemented after.
Have more confidence in your responses, Mr. Muhammad, one more time. Why would you think the answer is C?
Because it's
let me,
independent.
because how many independent ideas?
2.
Two. So what do we do to separate two independent ideas? We put between them a
Dot.
period.
First stop.
Full stop, period, whatever you want to call it, right? Good job, guys. Last question here, Mr. Muhammad. It's your go, bro. Let's do this.
Can I choose any?
While one requires oxygen and one does, and anaerobic respiration are both forms of cellular respiration. As it is a process by which cells break down glucose to use as energy.
Okay, very good job here, sir. So when we're, well, how many, well, one requires oxygen, one does not. Okay. Where's the independent idea?
There is no independent. There is none.
Okay, there has to be. Okay, there is none, correct? There is none. For now, let me ask you another question. Where is the subject and verb of the sentence?
Subject.
Well, actually, let me give it to you.
Subject
Hold on. Actually, let me give it to you another easier way. Let me give it to you an easier way. Do you see the word while, guys?
Yes.
Okay. So when you're dealing with words like while, so it's not just while. Let me actually write down a bunch of these words. These are called subordinating conjunctions. These are called subordinating conjunctions. And so what a subordinating conjunction is it introduces a dependent idea into an independent idea. So it gives us a dependent idea and then gives us a introduces a dependent idea and it gives us an independent idea. I want to give you a list of subordinating conjunctions. Give me a list of subordinating. Oops. Let me just type it up. Subordinating conjunctions. Just give me 2 seconds. So instead of me typing them all, I'm just gonna ask my ChatGPT to give me a full list of subordinating conjunctions. So when you see them, automatically you need to look for a comma. Automatically you need to look for a comma. Okay, so here's a good list right here. Okay, let me just stop the response. Let me get a beautiful screenshot of this. There you go. So this is a common list you're gonna find. So anytime you see any of these words, right? After, although, as, because, before, even though, if, since, though, unless, until, when, where, while. If you begin a sentence with any of these words, automatically you need a comma, subject, and verb. This is automatic. This is without, without question. This is without question. So now that you know that, now that you know we begin with a subordinating conjunction, Mr. Muhammad, what would the best answer be?
So best answer would be C.
Would be answer C. Why would the answer be C, sir?
No, D.
Answer D. Why is the answer D, Mr. Noor?
Because of the subordinating conjunction. You said
Yes.
that after it we should always have comma. So
You need
while
to have a comma at the end of the
subordinating,
phrase. I notice the subordinated conjunction of the phrase has a subject, has a verb, but it is dependent because it begins with a conjunction. So we need a comma, subject, and verb. Very good job, guys, there. If you're watching the video, you can learn anything. Mr. Sama out. 1 second. Okay.